How does card MRI now get to the ones who are fully unbanked, for example?
Well, actually, we now have refocused our strategy. So we're moving to the hard-to-reach area, the island towns, the mountainous area. We're covering the indigenous people. There are about 1 million of them that we are also now targeting. The hard-to-reach islands, no? The island towns. We're covering that area already. So that's what we want to do and what we're currently doing so that we're able to reach the unbanked sector of the country.
It's a sector that actually Quintin and I are very familiar with. Quintin having worked in the south, in Sulu, no? And we've been to Cotabato, and so we know that this particular sector is something that's very important, not just for them, but for the entire Philippines as a whole, because inclusivity improves everybody's way of life, no?
That's correct. In fact, we have started some microfinance way back in 2008. In Sulu, Tawi-Tawi, in Zamboanga, and even in the ARM area. No? Actually, our winnings in the Ramon Magsaysay Award all went to starting a project in Sulu. No? I was the first one who established also the card NGO branch in Sulu.
But so it's not just lending, no? Like what you do now, it's, as Quintin said, an entire ecosystem. You have now hospitals.
We're establishing our own hospital. We have clinics, because in addressing the poor, you need to look at it as an integrated approach. So we're not only doing microfinance, we're also doing microinsurance. We're insuring the lives of our clients, including calamity loans, calamity insurance, disaster insurance. We have this health program. That's why we have several clinics, and we are establishing our own hospital. We have the marketing support for our clients, those who want to ensure that their products are marketed, and they are marketed in such a way that the prices are good. That's how we help them also. We even have our own IT system, because it brings more efficiency. At a later time, we will share to you that card is also now in the forefront of digitalization. No? So we're making that transformation, making sure that this is more accessible to our clients. We're also now, we also have a college now.
Wow, school now.
A bachelor degree in entrepreneurship, major in microfinance. That's why I am most of the time in Mindanao, because we have established a campus there in Tagum, and we have several enrollees, both from the senior high school and also from the college.
Yeah, Doctor, I'm curious. You have a growing microfinance movement. The borrowing rate and the repayment rates are very healthy for any of your investors and yourself as a firm. The question is, how have you end up graduating them to the level of an SME, given you're focused now on entrepreneurship courses in Bae and in Davao?
Well, there is life after microfinance. Actually, we want to bring our client move to the next level, to become SME entrepreneurs now, because we believe that this is a good way to ensure that they don't go back to poverty. So with SME, they're able to create more business expansion, they're able to create more employment, and I think that's the way to go in terms of poverty eradication. So right now, we have specialized also on SME. So from the card NGO and the card bank that does microfinance, we have a specialized bank called the Card SME Bank. So the graduates are being supported in the Card SME Bank. So you don't talk about 5,000, you don't talk about 10,000. It's now more of 100,000, millions.
Bigger loans.
Yeah, bigger loans, because they want to expand their business. And this is where we're very supportive in helping them in managing and also linking them to the markets, in improving their product lines, improving their packaging. And in fact, we're able to bring the products of our client to many of the supermarkets here already.
Oh, great. So you've got supply chain support apart from capacity building. What kind of products are we seeing graduating from those schools and those programs?
We have the entrepreneurship program. So the graduates, you see, I always tell to our faculty, we don't produce academicians. We're producing entrepreneurs. No? Many of our graduates now are having their own businesses. No? They are into food processing, they are into laundry, they are into several kinds of trading business, and they're also reviving the indigenous food, and I think this is good. No?
This holistic approach, how important is it at this time in our economy today, where you can't look at poverty really with just one lens, no?
Yes.
You have to attack it on many different levels.
Yeah.
And if we're looking at that as an analogy for fighting poverty overall and fighting individual poverty, it's just not just a loan that the person needs.
That's correct, Salve. You know, CARD has, we have repositioned ourselves. What is CARD? What is CARD MRI all about? And I said that CARD MRI is not only in the business of microfinance per se or microinsurance. We are in the business of poverty eradication. And because we had adopted this as our mantra, eliminating poverty, eradicating poverty in this country, it becomes more focused in helping the poor. You don't only give loans to provide the livelihood assistance for them. And you also help them in the safety net by giving the microinsurance.
Yes.
Something happens to them, to their family, they have this safety net. They don't go back to poverty. And then we have education. No? You know, our motto also is one family, one graduate. And we have 5.5 million families that we are supporting. Can you imagine 5.5 million graduates? And I saw that if they graduate, this also means to bring them out of poverty.
Yes, it's pulling them out of poverty.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like nga the zero dropout program of CARD MRI. But sir, what does financial literacy have to do? How can it enhance this entire process?
Yeah, with financial literacy, you actually provide education to our clients, no, in terms of where do they save, how do they save, and what kind of interest, where do they invest their money? Because in savings, you bring about opportunities for them to invest. So the financial literacy covers that portion. It also covers that portion wherein you also have this kind of insurance. You also have this kind of methods on how to make sure that your savings get more earnings, more investment, and things like that. No? So you don't just spend. You actually make sure that the money works for you.
Yeah. So, Dr. Alip, I mean, given that, and you're reaching a lot of, the bias has been positively so around the world, in the Philippines, lending towards women, and I understand why that is. The question I have is, how do you influence the women to now influence the rest of their families to have that savings mindset? Because culturally, that might be a bit difficult also, which is why you don't really lend to men as much, right?
The moment you begin helping the women, give them loans, and these loans are converted to income-generating activities. When there's income, the first priority of the women will always be
kids,
for the family, food for the children, education for the children, shelter for the family, clothing for the children. And that to me is what development is all about. The men have different ways of doing things. We always think of big things. We're very sociable in nature. And I thought that if you really intervene on development, I think the women is a very great approach. And it's so empowering. And when the women get empowered, they're able now to, determine where the family, including the husband, how to help. They're also training the husband.
That's it. And that's what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
How does it change lives and mindsets? Because then now you're involving two sides of the parents, and then the children, and then changing the culture altogether, right?
And connecting that also with the ability to repay. Parang women has always led the high repayment rate of the MFI.
And the good thing also is when the women become very successful, the husbands join force. And when they join force...
insecure, sir?
In the beginning...
That's what I was getting at, actually.
In the beginning, they're a little bit insecure. But we know the insecurity. That's why CARD makes an intervention. We bring the husband. We call this lakbay aral. No? We bring the husband and wife, our clients, together. We show them what's going on in the CARD community, the businesses, and it's a life-changing moment for the husband because they see, this is something good for the family. They see also other husbands doing the helping the wives, helping the family. So it's life-changing for them.
And it encourages them rather than shames the machismo. They actually are now encouraged to help out.
Actually, they are now taking on responsibility in doing business.